Hey everyone, welcome back to X3 Albion Prelude. It's been a while. I went and collected all the Invidium from the unknown sectors and dropped it all off. They're going to want us to help defend a few of the PTNI assets, which includes attacking some pirates. Kind of annoying because, again, this will affect our pirate reputation. And yeah, by the by, I don't think I've shown off combat on the Vanguard yet. Pretty nice. You notice on the left, you'll see that its energy is not really going down at all, despite it firing about 8 different kinds of lasers, as well as 8 different kinds of flamethrowers. And that's a downside to M8s, that they can get blown up by their own bombs, as I just shown there. Now we need to attack a pirate base, which is really great for our reputation with the pirates. In fact, I was checking the map to make sure that our pirates would go down. Now there's a lot of pirates there in front of that pirate base, but I'm just waiting here for a minute. They'll pop up at any time here. Any minute. Here we go. The rapid response team jumped in, which composes of 2 destroyers, or I think one of them's a carrier, and a couple of bombers. I'll have a few things to say about well, there's more jumping in. By the by, people said that AI M8s don't actually fire their payloads, but I see here that they do. But anyways, rapid response fleets are what I like to call the anti-fun police, because anytime there's any hostiles in a sector, more often than not, a ton of rapid response units will just jump in and wipe out the aggressors. It makes patrol missions a pain in the ass, it makes defense missions a pain in the ass. And if you are on the bad side of the faction, be ready to have to deal with like 4 different capital ships every single time you enter one of their sectors. So I'm just waiting for the Argon to blow up the rest of these pirates, just to minimize the impact of our reputation loss when we blow up the station. Because unfortunately, the Argons, they blow up the pirate ships, but they don't actually finish off the base. After blowing up the rest of the pirate ships here, they just jump out. And I'll eventually have to call in our own M8 to blow this station up. Yep, so here is our Hades.
The steel beneath. The best of Paranid technology makes this bomber a leader in its class.
It's not a leader in the class, it's just the most average ship of all, but I've noticed that we don't use many Paranid ships, so I decided to use it. Here's a downside about blowing up stations, that you always get threatened, so, and it knocks you out of SETA every single time. So that took longer than I wanted it to, because he would just keep threatening me. And look at this, we got an offer from PTNI. Let's see what we got.
Speak the information you require is being transmitted.
Yeah, we're done with the headquarters subplot. For a couple million credits, we bought an Albatross, which is a TL ship of the Talati, and it has the headquarters in it. It also has a couple of Marines. Most of them suck, except for this one at the very bottom. So I'll probably be ejecting them and shooting them out in space because they're worthless to us.
This huge transporter is too large for any space station, and carries its own fleet of smaller transporter ships to load and unload its cargo.
So, like with most Talati ships, it's pretty bad in its class. Not really much else to say. It's, I believe, the slowest ship. By the way, I forgot to show off our Vanguard.
Pontifex Maximus Paranidia, sailing under the name Trinity, this unique vessel was the prototype for a new M6 class of ship. The contract incoming message.
Great timing on that. Anyways, our Vanguard here, it has about 1,000 megajoules of shielding.
Headquarters.
It goes pretty quick. And hey, check out our headquarters.
Headquarters are set up by spaceborne organizations to command and control all assets that belong to that company. From credit management to locations, wear control, and profitability analysis. The facilities on board these special headquarters allow for its owners to micromanage their entire fleet or manufacturing empire.
Betty speaks her description so slow for the headquarters, I don't get it. But anyways, with the headquarters, you see on the top, you see add to production queue. We can get different kinds of blueprints for the different ships, so we can produce our own ships. This uses up different materials that we have to get. I'll be showing that off soon enough, but it pretty much functions like any other factory if that factory can produce stations. We have the dockware manager here, which allows to just add a ware to the station and allow our ships to buy stuff for it without having to get one of it and stocking it ourselves. Here I'm throwing ships into the reverse engineer queue. After so much time has elapsed, it will be added to our blueprints. So we're currently reverse engineering the N, which will take almost 3 minutes. Once that's done, we can build more Ns provided we have the materials for it. Now the N is a small scout ship. It reverses pretty quickly. However, the bigger the ships go, the longer it takes. The L is an M3, and that was going to take 42 minutes to reverse engineer. As you see here, we can pop them in, determine how many we want to build, and if we look at the info, that is how many resources we need to build one of them. Energy cells, tellurium, or silicon wafers. Some ships require NVIDIA. There's microchips, computer components, lots of stuff to build more ships, and we will be having to build our own factories to produce those materials. Other stuff we can do is that we can recycle ships, which basically breaks it down into its resources. If a ship is damaged, it gives less resources. Another thing to note here is the storage capacity of the headquarters. You saw there was no like number out of number, unlike here, like at the very top, Advanced Satellite 1 out of 124. The headquarters does not have that limitation. But anyways, hey look, we have an old friend here. I kept jumping, I was able to find the Aaron ship again. Once again we have to laser to make it hostile against us.
Attention, energy low.
Jump back into our ship. This is the here comes the boom with its boarding pods. Gotta go into the piracy command, board ship, and nearest ship, which is the ship right down there, the Aaron. Gonna have to speed this up because it's gonna take quite a bit actually.
We're at the target.
As you see on here though, we can see the status of what our Marines are doing, cutting hole, fighting and whatnot, and how many different decks. Anyways, hey, we captured the Aaron. Look at that, that 12% hull integrity. Doesn't really have much inside of it. So I'm gonna have to transfer a lot of stuff. We're gonna say goodbye to our Senshi as I move everything onto the Aaron so we can jump out with it. Because if we don't jump out with it, we will lose it forever.
Energy cells. Transfer
So you served us well. Here comes the boom. I will replace you as soon as we jump back into known space.
Fire
I have a
patrol
feeling I'm
command
forgetting something
special
about the Aaron,
navigation
though.
Command transferred. Boost extend jump drive transport singularity and docking.
Oh well,
Trains,
whatever.
freight scanner transferred.
We're gonna jump onto the Aaron and jump out. R.I.P. Here comes the boom. He
Jump
will be
device
missed.
Charging at 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50%.
And you don't get a note or anything about losing the ship. It just disappears completely from the property menu.
With the ability to rescue stranded Gonar ships and to more easily gather its own shipbuilding resources, the Aran is a great asset to the Gonars.
So look at that. Max speed upgradable to 12 meters a second. This ship is ungodly slow. And that is its downside, besides the fact that it cannot use any weapons. It cannot fire any weapons, it cannot fire any missiles, nothing. So here I am about to fix the Aaron because it would take forever doing the bar lasers, and it took half of my money. And now I'm going to fully upgrade it, including its cargo bay extension, and oh my god, look at how much it takes up. I had 240 million credits before this point, now I barely have 100 million.
2 gigajoule shield.
R.I.P. money. Barely 90 million now. So, with how short the headquarters one was, we're gonna jump right into Atreus here.
Interest to you? This mission demands both time and skill. I'm sure you have both.
So we're gonna help out Atreus with their little things. There are stories about how the Boron jumps in to fight the Terrans in the fight, I guess. Which didn't make sense, because I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of Boron fighters in Terran space. Anyways, it's just a lot of, you need to get 3 different kinds of missiles.
We're greatly honored that you wish to come on board.
Mosquito missiles are easy enough to find.
You have done a truly excellent job. Atreus appreciates your continued service. Accept this reward.
Hornet missiles took a little bit of finding around, and the Hammerhead ones, we had a station producing those, so those were easy to get as well. Now, oh hey, the hub. I'm sure anyone who's played Terran Conflict remembers the hub. The hub is a set of quests where you have to get a lot of resources. I believe you had to get like 150,000 microchips.
Incoming message.
It really was ridiculous. It required a hell of a lot of factories producing stuff to be able to complete the quest. But it looks like the Boron own the hub now. I guess the player from Terran Conflict just kind of threw his hands up and said, "See you guys later," and just kind of disappeared because there's no mention of him in this game. And as you see here, we believe Terrans have placed recon satellites nearby, and we didn't blow them up to avoid heightening tensions. Again, I don't quite understand that, but whatever.
Contacted us. Push to intercept and eliminate all hostile ships.
A bunch of Terran satellites spawn in, and I'm gonna jump into Eagle 5 here. I had a reverse engineered Eagle 5, and that took like 4 hours to do, and built 2 different Amon prototypes, which is the others are Wingman. I also reverse engineered the Vanguard, and that took 24 hours to reverse engineer, and to build another one took another 24 hours. To build both Amon prototypes, it took 8 hours combined. It takes a very long time to build the bigger ships. It's kind of ridiculous. It takes literally real life days to build the bigger ships in this game.
Unknown sector.
And hey, the unknown sector. Welcome to the hub, and my god, that is quite phallic, isn't it? I'm sorry guys, I'm not exactly above low brow humor like that. Anyways, look, If you look on the right, you see there's microchips just kind of spread all over the area, and that's kind of like a middle finger. It's taunting me.
Incoming message.
Now we need to dump waste and restock some of their supplies for the hub.
Docking autopilot.
Nothing too exciting. Honestly, PTNI and this hub quests are kind of not really fascinating. They're kind of boring, to be honest. I'm sorry, guys.
You should be receiving your wares now.
As an aside, when we were patrolling the 2 sectors and blowing up the Terran satellites, there was also pirates jumping to the sector
Receive the wares.
instead of Terrans for whatever reason.
You must hurry. My testicles are drying out.
Also, I swear to God that Boron says my testicles are drying out. I've listened to it over and over again, and it sounds nothing like my tentacles are drying out.
Successfully docked.
Queen Atreus and the Kingdom of Boron bid you a peaceful welcome. We are greatly honored that you wish to come on board.
Connection to local trading network established. Incoming message.
If you look here on the top, the previous head researcher filled most of the storage areas with thousands of microchips. Thanks, game. It's almost like a little in-joke, except for the fact that they were the ones who programmed it, and it was the most tedious part of Terran conflict, in my opinion.
Incoming message.
Now we need to pick up more resources for the hub, food items. Luckily for us, we actually have stations producing a vast majority of the resources they're calling for. Spices, Bofu, and Delexian wheat. Bofu's being made by our microchip factory because it's all being fueled by boron stations. So we use boron food to fuel those up. For the other 2, we've got this station over here, Alcatraz. This is in Weaver's Tempest, the Yaki homeworld, making wheat, salt spices, the 2 things we need, as well as space wheat and ore. This is to fuel up the space fuel distilleries, the IBL launchers here, which buys out all those stuff. So we're constantly getting in IBL launchers and easy access to space fuel without having to make it ourselves. Now there's just going to be a series of cuts here because it's quite literally just flying around while you get a bunch of bulletins about the Terrans doing shit to the Borons, and all I can think of is I would really like to actually be participating in these things. You know, I would like to be in space and see the Terran, fight off the Terrans as they kidnap this Boron passenger ship. But you don't. There's very minimal fighting in this quest line. It's, again, pretty disappointing.
Message.
Boron enters the Terran war again. At the very beginning of the game, they were already fighting the Terrans. I guess that's just a scripting thing, though. This game isn't well made. That's not a diss against Egosoft, though. It's a really old game. It's still running off of the X3 Reunion engine. Now finally, we get to do something besides waiting around for messages to come in. They want us to pick up a bunch of energy cells to power the hub. The hub gate, I guess I should explain the hub. The hub gate has 3 different sets of gates, and it basically, what it does is that it places the hub in between 2 sectors. Like, I'm going to show it off here because they want us to align the gates with a split sector. I'm trying to minimize moving up and down the command list because it makes a very painful clicking sound. Anyways, so like here, we're going to line it and we're going to put it here and connect to its east gate. So between the east gates of Zyra's Dominion and the sector east of it, its west gate will be this station. They'll have to fly through here to get between the 2 sectors. So So this essentially lets you link up 3 different, or I guess 6 different sectors together. Now we literally have to wait 2 hours for the gate realignment to cool down. But yeah, so it's actually pretty good for hooking up individual sectors. For example, our unknown sector, where all of our headquarters are at, with other sectors. It's also fun to say connect 3 Xenon sectors to a homeworld of another race.
Incoming message.
Alright, we are all done with that. They give us access to the hub now at this point. Well, at least one of the gates. And they want us to connect the hub to a few Terran sectors. Hey, yay. Achievement acquired, and again, we now own the gate hub. So I'm going to immediately remove the hub that I linked to that split sector to Zyros Dominion, just because it's kind of a bad sector, because it borders a Xenon sector and it only has 2 other sectors next to it. So I plan on getting that replaced ASAP. Now I'm going to connect this with the Terran sectors they wanted me to hook it up with. We have to wait a few minutes for them to link up. And now the Terrans have to fly through this sector to move from one sector to the other, to move from Cigaris to the sector west of it. You would think that there would be some actual fighting going on here, but there isn't. At worst, only Terran traders fly through this sector. There's no Terran warships or nothing. And even if there was, there's an entire Boron military fleet in here, so we'll just skip to the end.
No aim. Gate hub. Incoming message.
Alright, and that is it, everyone. That is the hub quest in this game. Again, I'm sorry it wasn't too exciting, but that's how it is. We are done. We own the hub, we now own the headquarters. I'm going to be realigning the Terran sectors with the unknown sector and Legends Home. So, just to make things easier and allow our ships to move from the unknown sector into other sectors, it makes trading better. And then we'll also be getting a message here in a few minutes about someone who has inherited a corporation from his uncle, I believe, or his father, and he wants our help to help him prevent the corporation from sinking. So, when we get there, I'll be seeing you guys next time.